Good morning. I am Dr. Lamont Repollet, President of Kean University, and I'm so pleased to welcome you all to our 2021 Kean University Honors Convocation. Together we gather virtually to recognize the members of the Kean University class of 2021 who have distinguished themselves during their undergraduate education by graduating with honors. Of course, like many of you, I wish we could be celebrating in person on our beautiful Kean campus, but remember, safety remains our top priority. However, one of the nice things about having these events online is that students are able to invite family members and friends from across the country to share the celebration. So to those who are taking part from afar, I proudly join our Kean University honor graduates in welcoming you to this milestone celebration. Graduating with honors is a distinction that comes at the conclusion of years of hard work, long nights, countless hours at the library or laboratory, and lots of Starbucks caffeine. Graduating with honors is proof that giving it your all, even when you're tired or distracted by other things in life, pays off. This year in particular, with all the challenges brought on by COVID-19, your accomplishments are even more impressive. You lived through a worldwide pandemic and its socio-economic impact. While you were working hard, our campus was shut down and classes moved online. You studied while being socially distant. You took steps to keep yourself and your family safe from COVID-19. Some of you became ill or saw loved ones become ill with the disease, but you persevered. You also witnessed an explosion of deep political and social division across our nation. You maintained focus in the face of systemic racism and injustices. You saw and perhaps took part in the resurgence of civil rights activism. You achieved greatness during intense times as honors graduates, and that only heightens your accomplishments today. As you celebrate your honors convocation today and go on to take part in our Kean commencement and other exciting events during the coming weeks, I urge you to enjoy every moment. Savor the feeling of accomplishments. Thank your family for their support. Look around for your friends and Kean classmates and celebrate them too. The poet Langston Hughes once said, "I have discovered in life there are ways of getting almost anywhere you want to go if you really want to go." Your graduation with honors is proof that you know where you really want to go. With that in mind, I urge you to use the knowledge you have gained as honors graduates of Kean to carve a clear path forward in whatever professional or personal paths you choose to follow. I wish all of you every success as you move forward from Kean, and I congratulate you on a job well done. You are the best that Kean University has to offer, and we are proud of you. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Congratulations, class of 2021, and welcome to our virtual honors convocation. Today will be a special event to recognize the incredible achievements of our most academically distinguished graduates. And I hope that you will welcome your family, friends, and community to share in this celebration. Of course, I wish we could do it in person. This is, after all, the second honors convocation that Kean University is conducting these virtually. But truly, I look forward to a brighter future, and I know that you will be part of it. So it is my special honor to introduce your keynote speaker today, Dianetta Jones-Creighton. She is currently serving as Associate Dean of the Office of Minority Education at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. She was Director of Diversity Programs for the College of Engineering at Cornell University before that. And she also previously served as Director of Education, Training, and Outreach of the National Consortium for Graduate Degrees for Minorities in Engineering and Science. So Dianetta has a special understanding of our student population, overseeing students at MIT who are first generation in their family to go to college and are also underrepresented in the STEM fields. So I'm delighted that she accepted our invitation to share some of her insights. I'm confident that she will inspire you. I had the privilege to get to know her during summer of 2019 when I was on campus in Cambridge serving as visiting professor at MIT, and I was able to speak to her first generation students among other groups. So without further ado, let me welcome Dianetta Jones-Creighton. And I hope you and your friends and family enjoy this special day. What you have achieved is truly notable given all the challenges the pandemic has brought society. So I look forward to seeing you on campus soon as new alumni in the coming months. Thank you.
Thank you to Vice President Jeffrey Toney, to President Lamont Repollet, and the entire Kean University administration for this very special invitation. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to be here, albeit virtually, to celebrate the Kean University Honors College graduates of 2021. Congratulations to each of you. You absolutely deserve it. This is truly one of the most important moments in your lives. I know it does not look or feel like anything that you ever imagined for your college graduation. And I acknowledge that what I am about to say may be asking a lot. But this is the first of 3 life lessons that I want you to take away with you today. And here is life lesson number 1. Please do not forget to take in the collateral beauty. Please do not forget to take in the collateral beauty of this very special time in your life. In other words, don't spend too much time focusing on what you missed out on. And I know that this is drastically different, so I do not mean to minimize this in any way. But staying in that space of deficit is a poor use of your precious energy. So I ask you to take a moment right now, wherever you are, and begin to reflect on the magnificence of this moment. Think about how much it took for you to get here today. Everything that you gave of yourself to be in this special place and time, all that it means to you, all that it means to your family, friends, and loved ones, many of whom supported you in this endeavor. And begin to treasure this moment in your hearts and recognize this undeniable truth. You are phenomenal. There is not another you, and the world needs you. Not someone like you. The world needs you. And this is not about putting the burden on all of you to fix the world's problems. No, this is much simpler than that. We just need you to show up in this world and be who you are, to use the gifts and talents that you have been blessed with to achieve all that is within you to do. Because this world that we live in today cannot get any better without you in it. Now, I am sure that some of you may be wondering why I was asked to speak to you today. I think that's a fair question, and I can explain this. There are 2 very simple reasons. The first is the obvious one, my affiliation with MIT and the fact that I have committed my entire professional career, almost 30 years, to supporting and advocating for students just like you. The second reason I believe that I am here today may not be as obvious, but it is still fairly simple. See, in many ways, I am you. And this is not the same as my role or my work. When I say that I am you, it means that I see you. It means that my lived experience, even though I am a few years older, may actually be similar to some of yours and certainly to some of your parents. See, I can relate to what it feels like to be you, to have to walk in your proverbial shoes, coming from the places that you come from with the goals and aspirations, hopes and dreams that you have. Now, I'm not a city girl. I grew up in a small town in DeRidder, Louisiana. I am the third of 8 children, 4 boys and 4 girls, born into what was essentially a single parent home. My mother, well, she was a strong Black woman. She loved us and she worked hard. Yet I know that the weight of caring for us alone took its toll on her daily. It was hard for her and it was hard for us, but she managed to take care of all of us by what I can only call the grace of God in the village, the school, the church, our family, our neighborhood, and yes, even a little support from the state. Now, I must admit that this story, my personal story, throughout my childhood and well into my teen years, well past them, it often caused me pain and embarrassment. But today, I'm not sharing my story of very humble beginnings with you to gain your sympathy. I have chosen to share my story because it's extremely important for you to see where I came from in order to even begin to appreciate where I am today. My life is a life of first. My mother loved to tell the story of how I was the first little Black girl to truly integrate what was then known as the white pool. Now, segregation was long over, but there was still a white side of town and a Black side of town. And if this incident is true, and I have no reason to doubt it, then this was certainly a preview of what was to come. In 1987, I became the first of my mother's 8 children to graduate from college with a bachelor's degree, and later the first to obtain a graduate degree. In 1988, I became the first of my mother's daughters to serve in the military. All of my brothers served. I served in the U.S. Air Force during Desert Shield and Desert Storm. That makes me a proud veteran. My professional life followed a similar theme. My life continued to be a life of first. In 1991, I became the first director of the Business Education Science Team program started at California State University, Sacramento. In 1993, I became the first director of the Mathematics, Engineering, and Science Achievement Program and the Minority Engineering Program at the University of the Pacific in Stockton, California. In 1998, I took on a new role as the first associate director of the statewide Mesa Schools program housed at the University of California, Berkeley Office of the President. And in 2001, I became the first director of education, training, and outreach for a national graduate fellowship organization called GEM, then housed at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. From there, in 2005, I became the first director of diversity programs in the College of Engineering at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. And yes, there were other firsts. My mother's first daughter to get married, the first female minister in our family, and the first female minister ever in the church where I was licensed. But it was my position at Cornell that opened the door for me to serve in my current role. And in 2009, I walked into the hallowed halls of one of the nation's and the world's most prestigious universities, working with some of the best and the brightest students in the world, students just like you. So the question is, how did this happen? How did I do it? Well, here's one of the most important life lessons I have ever learned. And this is life lesson number 2. It is okay to be the first. Say it with me. It is okay to be the first. Don't be afraid to be the first or the only. In fact, be much like the first Black and Asian and female vice president of the United States of America, my AKA sorority sister, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. I quickly realized that I may be the first, but I will not be the last. Not only did every first door open the door to my next great opportunity, but in virtually every position I have served in, I've also been able to pave the way for other talented and highly qualified people to follow after me. But this question, how did I do it? It's even more complex than that. How did this little Black girl from a small town that most people have never heard of, how did I make it from there to here? Where I can assure you that this was no fairy tale. This was no yellow brick road. The path from there to here was paved with disappointments and successes, with persecutions and perseverance, with restlessness and resilience, with doubts and a whole lot of faith. Maya Angelou once said, "I wouldn't take nothing for my journey now." And I feel the same way about my life. The truth is, if it was not for my childhood, my life circumstances, I would not be who I am today. The love, the faith, the hope, the fortitude, the commitment to excellence, the belief that I could have a future that was more than my current reality. This is the ilk that I am made of. It is a fabric woven with cords of faith, hope, strength, perseverance, power, determination, and education. And this is what I believe is in each and every one of you. Now, I cannot come here today without acknowledging everything that is happening and has been happening in our nation and in this world, not the least of which is the impact of COVID. And as you have likely already gleaned, I am a person of faith. And in times of distress, I often call on words from scripture. And this is one of my favorite scriptures, and I hope that you can see the screen there. It's one of my favorite scriptures because while I may not share the same beliefs or even espouse religious beliefs that you have, and some people don't even call on religion as a way to get through the tough times at life, there is a life lesson here nonetheless, and it is life lesson number 3. You will need to call upon someone or something bigger or greater than you for inspiration. You will need to call upon someone or something bigger or greater than you for inspiration. For me, it is my faith. For you, it may be your parents. It could be an inspirational saying or a quote. In fact, I encourage each of you to find at least one quote, one inspirational message that you can keep with you at all times, something that feeds your very soul. Keep it close so you can call on it at a moment's notice, because you will need it. Last month, I had to speak at a student vigil, a virtual vigil at MIT, honoring the lives of those killed and injured in the Atlanta shootings. And as we were in that vigil, more news about the mass shooting in Boulder was unfolding. My heart was breaking as I shared with them that I often call on this passage for hope. And of course, there have been even more senseless murders and mass shootings since then. With all that is happening, it is hard to keep getting back up again, but we must. It is hard to stop bitterness from taking root in our hearts, but we must. It is hard to keep forgiving those who have caused harm, but all of this we must do. We must, because we cannot become like them. See, I believe that love is still the answer for the world today. Dr. King said that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. This is a radical and compelling kind of love. It is a love that compels us to get into good trouble like John Lewis, to become angelic troublemakers like Bayard Rustin. This new dimension of love encourages us to keep up the fight. We must fight for what is right, and we must fight for our rights. We have the right to live freely. We have the right to be safe from all hurt, harm, and danger. The right to be who we are in the bodies that we are in the skin that we are in, speaking the languages that we speak from all the nations we represent, no matter what religion or faith we espouse, or if we choose to espouse no faith or religion at all, no matter who we choose to love or how we desire to show up in this world, our shared humanity makes us worthy worthy of life. This is our God-given right. And on that, we must not remain silent. So I will close by posing a few questions to each of you. What will you do? What action will you take, Kean University Honors College graduates of 2021? Will you walk in your calling and purpose? Will you advocate for justice? Will you help make this world a better place? My sincere hope and prayer is that you will do all of this and more. Congratulations once again to each of you. It is time to go out and change the world. We are all waiting on you. Thank you.